Welcome back, friends. We've got the Misfits Media Machine pumping and all cylinders to make sure that we're able to bring you yet another video covering what's happening in the Near ecosystem. In today's video, we're going to be covering the regional DAO elections. This is a very topical video because the elections have started right now. So the aim for this video is to be a beginner-friendly walk in the park so that if this is the first time that you're coming across governance on Near, you know exactly where this fits into the puzzle. We will be unpacking what the NDC is, grassroots DAOs, what the regional DAO structure is like, but acknowledging the pressing matters of the election at stake. What we'll do is I will do it the other way around. So the video will start with a rundown of how the election process works right now. This will only be relevant to the 800 or 900 people that have registered to vote. And after we get that very important information out of the way for the people that will be voting over the next 4 days, then we will move on to unpacking what the regional DAO is more broadly. So without further ado, let's jump in. All right, we are on the regional communities election widget. This page will only be available for people that have completed the I Am Human verification and joined as a voter in the member group. You had to join the voter group before the 8th of July, midnight, UTC, to be able to participate in this election. And for now, let's jump into the election process. Let's just start by saying that this is 100% an experiment. And I like it because in some ways it leverages the blockchain operating system. What do I mean? This is a front end that has been composed by pulling together different components. On the back end, this is actually using the Sputnik DAO contract, which is the same contract that Astro DAO uses. So it is Sputnik DAO on the back end, and Astro DAO would have been the front end, which was a hybrid app with a bit of middleware. Now, all the Sputnik DAO functionality has been absorbed or pulled into or leveraged through the blockchain operating system on Near Social. So what DAO Mastermind James Wu has done is organize all the candidates by continent. So we've got 4 candidates from Africa, a ton from Asia. I am the only candidate from Australia, which also means that in the weirdest of ways, Australia is technically not a continent for the voting election purposes. We'll get to that in just 1 minute. There's also 4 candidates from Europe, 3 from North America, and 4 from South America. It's not the best UI, but it's a work in progress. The main thing that you have to know about this election is that you are able to vote only once per candidate, which makes sense. You can't vote multiple times for the same candidate, but you are indeed able to vote multiple times, once per candidate, for as many candidates as you want. I'm going to repeat that for the people at the back. Voters are able to vote for as many candidates as they want from any and all regions. And the reason why this is so important is because this election is technically 2 rounds in one. The first round is for the 5 seats allocated for each region: Africa, Asia, North America, South America, and Europe. Yes, that's right. Australia is not getting a seat. So for these 5 seats, the votes allocated for each region will only take into account voters from that region. So for the winner of Africa, they must have the highest number of votes amongst African voters. When you join the voter group, you specify which region you're in. Then what would be the equivalent of a second round is the final 2 seats are available to any candidate from any region, and it will be determined as a popular vote, namely the most amount of votes from all voters in all regions. This is the reason why candidates are strongly encouraged to vote for many people, not just in the region, to make sure that it is fair and balanced for everyone. Especially in my case, I am only allowed to win through the popular vote. So if you're watching this and you register as a voter, make sure that you go, give support to your preferred candidate in your region. And then please also, if you think that I am not terrible, give me a vote among all the other quality candidates. So for this video, I'm going to do a quick demo on what voting looks like. So I have already voted for Near Korea. So I'm going to vote for a second candidate just to prove that I am able to vote for as many candidates as I want within the same region. Proof transaction. And that should be done. If I refresh here, There we go. Now it updates as voted, and it is currently grayed out, so it is not allowing me to vote twice for the same person. So it's just a quick demonstration to prove that you can go in and you can vote for as many people as you want. The candidate with the highest number of votes from your region will take the seat for that region, and then there will be 2 candidates elected with the highest number of votes overall. The only other feature that I want to highlight from the UI is this big blue button called Discuss. Clicking on the blue button will actually take you to the post that each candidate had to make when they self-nominate. So this would be the best place to go if you want to learn more about each candidate and why do they think that they would be a great council member. And this is where the discussion is encouraged to happen. So by all means, if you have questions from candidates, you have 4 full days to read what they've posted, ask them questions, and later decide whether you want to give them your vote. On an election where you can vote for as many candidates as possible, it would be nice if people take the time to go in and find out who the best candidates are. One slight shortcoming that you may notice from the current UI is that this is not like Twitter polls where after you vote, you're able to see how many votes each person has gathered. But fear not, because the Pikes Peak team has actually come forward with a fantastic widget. The link to this widget will be in the section below, and all you have to do is enter the original community DAO, go to the votes history section, and each candidate would have a proposal ID. By clicking on the proposal ID number, we can see that the candidate that matches that number is Riley Tran from Asia. So we know that proposal 917 is for Riley Tran. And then on the right, we can see that she has received 6 votes in total. The final thing I promised before we jump into what is the original DAO is the number of transactions in Near have exploded over the last 24 hours. It went from a daily average of 350,000 to a whopping 580,000 and counting. Of course, I'm not going to claim that this has all been the original DAO election. There's only 800 people and there's only about 26 candidates that they can vote for. But why not? Fuck it. If you're not particularly worried about misinformation or, exaggerating data a little bit, why not? Let's claim that it was the original DAO. This is a moment where we want to bring some energy into the Near community, where we want to motivate people to participate, where we want to encourage people to run as candidates, to register for the next voting elections, to encourage other DAOs on Near, I'm looking at you, mate, to have elections as soon as possible, and in general, to have fun. And with that beautiful introduction, let's dive into the beginner walk as to what is the original DAO and why does it matter. The original DAO is a baby DAO that has been spun out of the marketing DAO and has been operating as a working group within the Near Digital Collective, or NDC, for the last 6 months or so. I was part of the marketing DAO as a council member back in the day. This actually goes back to October 2022, when we acknowledged that regional communities needed a different type of guidelines and support for them to succeed. It was very obvious to us that just having a Twitter account named Near Insert Region here, and them getting thousands of dollars per month just to run a Twitter account, was not really driving any regional growth. Most importantly, if we were to compare those Twitter accounts with the Twitter accounts of everyday community members who share genuine, authentic, original content, these members were actually creating way more value than these original communities, yet you can see what the issues were. So back in October, we started conversations with the Near Foundation. The Near Foundation starts looking for a regional expansion lead. And from the community side, we also start getting organized to make sure that we can start from scratch and have an independent body that specifically looks after regional communities. Some of the guidelines of the benchmarks that have been given some of the existing regional communities as they try to transition towards new funding is, imagine for a moment that you're running a Near hacker house in your city. And I'll always use Solana as a reference point. Solana had the Summer of Love, one hacker house in each city in Europe. Even Aptos and Sui have been very active having hacker houses in all these cities where there are conferences happening. I've already seen Sui hacker houses in Denver and in Korea. So the challenge is, how can we have an active community of developers, of builders, of mentors, of people that believe in the technology and can rally people behind them in as many cities as possible in the world? That is the vision. So the regional DAO has many components. The council are meant to be the people that can steward that DAO to make sure that we can operate efficiently and recruit people to start all these grassroots movements. On the operational efficiency, the most interesting thing is that the regional DAO would be stepping up to be a grassroots DAO, so it would be a sibling or stand side by side to the marketing DAO and the creatives DAO. And the regional DAO would basically be a conduit or a middleman, oh, that's a horrible word, between the community treasury that has been established and seated with 5.7 million NEAR and any original community out there. So this is really our chance to have a very strong base to then in turn empower the builders. I personally hate the bureaucracy. Maybe the reason why there hasn't been more content about governance on NEAR is because I feel like governance should be the basic structure that empowers builders, but 80% of the attention should be on builders and creating value, as opposed to just managing money and paying each other off. Anyway, friends, I said I wanted to keep this one short, so it is what it is. But let me know in the comment section below if you registered on time, you think about the candidates, and of course, if you think that I would be a great addition to the council team. I would really appreciate your support, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya!